What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for July 12th, 2021. We have 314 finally in the PTU, a monthly report to go over, and a sub reward that people are mad about. Let's get into it. All right, as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news that came out in the past week, pile it into one video, and share my thoughts about it as well. Also, I do live stream on twitch.tv/SaltEMike every day but Monday and Tuesday. So make sure if you want to stop by and say hello, you can do that there. We're going to start out with the patch notes for the PTU. I'm going to briefly go through them because... yeah, I mean, it's been in the PTU for a few days now. I'm sure most of you guys have read the patch notes or seen it, but for anyone that hasn't and is just kind of following the project from afar, basically, we have an updated Crusader, which is the gas giant in the Stanton system, and the new Orison landing zone, which to me is probably the most well-designed landing zone they've done yet. But if you don't have a 3090, you're not getting good frames in my experience. I have an 8-year-old PC. I haven't got to experience it as much as I'd like. I'm literally getting sub 10 frames, but everywhere else in the Stanton system, I'm getting reasonably good ones. So I'm enjoying playing the patch outside of Crusader, but yeah, so I'm trying to avoid it for right now. But yeah, it's really well done. The travel time between each location on the landing zone is really nice, and the only gripe that I really have about it is that it takes forever to get out. So when you're deciding to leave the planet or leave the landing zone to quantum travel to another area in the Stanton system, you have to get above 150 kilometers, I think, and it's just super long and it takes forever. So that would be my only gripe about it, but overall I think it's really awesome, really well done, and hopefully it's optimized a little bit better. Then we had law system surrender. Now, I think that this is pretty pointless because I doubt you would surrender to any NPCs in the current state that they're in, but maybe they're getting a little bit stronger, and we'll touch on that a bit more later. But yeah, we tested it with a crime stat 1. I only got 11 minutes in jail, so the reduced sentence was pretty nice. Then ships, they added just the Constellation Taurus. Yeah, it's the cargo ship, one of the last original Kickstarter ships, if not the last Kickstarter ship that was added to the game. Clouds, obviously people seem to be loving them, but yeah, my PC, I can't really enjoy them as much because it's a potato. And then radar scanning and ping. For this, I can't really give much of a detailed explanation on. They're saying a lot has changed, and it might have, but it's so early in the patch and I haven't really dove into it so much that it kind of feels the same with a newer UI update. But the UI update is very nice, but it is especially broken when it comes to mining at the moment. But again, we're in the first couple patches of the PTU. We'll talk about the second patch, Patch G, in a moment, where a monumental change happened, and I imagine that's going to be happening throughout this PTU cycle. But the best part about it is that pirates can no longer see your ping. So remember when you would ping and search for minables or anything like that, it would be seen from super far away. Now that is not possible. It's basically just a client-side thing. But I imagine that our signature gets really big. So if you ping and then somebody pings you soon after, you might be a little bit hot and easier to see. Power Management V2, this is... essentially the capacitor system that they talked about. It's basically what Elite Dangerous have. You put some pips into different areas, and the areas are weapons, thrusters, and shields, and you can choose where you want to put those, or just keep it right in the middle and be pretty vanilla. But that you gain advantages by moving your pip into weapons. Let's say they would reload faster and recharge faster. I should just say recharge because ballistic ammo does not reload. So what they also did was lower the ammo count on ballistics, and they're really trying to balance right now. So what I would say is the main update to the whole power management system was, because they put the power management system in, they completely redid everything. Anything we knew from 0.8 of Arena Commander all the way until now basically has been redone and rethought. And what they're doing is it's balanced all the way across the board. Weapons have the same amount of damage and I guess shot speeds, all those things. So everything is balanced around a light fighter versus a medium fighter, cannons versus ballistics versus repeaters, laser repeaters, those kind of things. They're all kind of across the board the same to get the feel for it. So the goal right now is to get a feel for what all of this stuff should feel like. I know this is crazy. It's year 9 of development. You know, we're so far along and we're redoing everything and it's kind of nuts. But this is exactly what needed to be done. And I was always skeptical about capacitors and all this stuff, but so far it feels really good, and I'm pretty pleased with the progress here. So then we are moving on to the new HUDs. So we've seen a lot of that, and we've talked a lot about it lately. Some good, some bad about the HUDs. Some of it's unreadable, some of it is, and yeah, I think it'll be a work in progress throughout the project of the game, but I think it's a really good starting spot for them. IFCS wind effects, so when you're near the surface of a planet, you're going to blow sand and dust and things like that in the direction that your thrusters are actually going. So just one of those quality of life visual updates that CIG tends to do. Claiming ships no longer will restock your missiles, so that is like kind of a workaround for people being jerks in the game. And then law and prison updates. So this is, there was quite a few things that went on, and there was a thread like, hey, we want to know what the most important thing is. And I think they fixed the most important thing, but didn't mention it in the patch notes. When you are mining gems inside the prison, you can pick them up one after the other. No delay, no red text. You just pick it up. It's fantastic. Then moving on to patch G, they made a monumental change to capacitors that they just put in. Basically, it doesn't just affect the regen. Now it will also affect the weapon pool that you have if you push power to weapons, like how good your shields are if you push power to shields, and how effective your thrusters are if you push power to thrusters, not just the regen aspect. So they're adding more to it already, which is pretty impressive. And that was really all that was in patch G, other than like crash fixes and stuff like that. So now we're going to move on to the monthly report, which I'm going to touch on kind of lightly. A lot of this stuff in the monthly report was 3.14 things and things that or maybe a little bit further off that aren't worth mentioning at this time. So I'm going to touch on it just briefly. AI, they showed some vendor activities that are being worked on to make them more realistic. I'm assuming the bartender behaviors, but tied now to vendors. Then security guards, we might see them having conversations with other civilians in the game pretty soon. And I think the most important one was that they are working on unmanned missile turrets for station defense and things like that that are going to be really effective to make it really difficult to be a jerk around stations, for lack of better words. Character art, they worked on 3.15 with backpacks to be able to equip and unequip them. Big thing they worked on is holographic props for all of their assets. So this means armor and anything prop kind of stuff that they work on for looting. Concept artists are spending time on event-themed items, so I hope this is a reward like the Vandal Mask for the Xenothreat event that they said they have rewards for, but we don't really know anything about that yet. Environment art, Montreal is crushing hospitals, and now they're on to more gameplay. They're making derelict ship puzzles, which are going to be populated with actual loot. Like, what? Is this actually becoming a video game? Not stupid, worthless boxes that are currently at them. They're planning 24 of these in total, 12 in space, 12 on the planet side, so there's going to be variation. I mean, Montreal is killing it, but they're not done. They're defining building interior gameplay. So those rooftops at ArcCorp, the rooftops at New Babbage, yeah, you may want to land on them for more than just taking a screenshot. Like, I'm so excited for some of this stuff. It's really, really awesome. Ship art, just going to shoot right through these. The Ares variants are being worked on, as well as an unannounced ship. Redeemer's still in gray box, and the A2 Hercules and its bombs are still in progress as well. Same with art weapons. It's just like animations on the Grey Cat tractor beam, which is a 3.15 thing, I believe, as well as the size 7 guns for the Ares variants, and more on that later in the show here. Engine. So I usually have no idea what's going on, but there was a lot of talk about optimizations here. So that's pretty exciting. Again, I always kind of reach out to you guys that are a little bit smarter than I am. So if you kind of understand what's going on in the engine or the graphics section of the monthly report, let me know. Let me know what's going on there, and yeah, help us understand all the developer speak, I guess, since we are not game developers here. Character features, actor status, blood, drug levels will have certain effects on you. Like if they're too high, you're gonna act kind of drunk. Downstate is in progress. Those are major things. I'm not touching on them so much because I feel like we're going to hear a lot more about these in the future, but the fact that they're in progress is super exciting. Again, more stuff that is going to start coming together, I hope, start tying together and making Star Citizen really feel like a game. The priorities really feel like they're in the right place right now for me. The things that I feel are priorities are the things that are being worked on. It's very exciting. With that continued gameplay features, player asset manager, they named it Knickknacks. Okay, like I hope this is a troll, but whatever. I think that name is so bad. It's the app that basically takes away our global inventory that we have now and tells us where all of our stuff is around the universe and where maybe we can manage it in some way. But that app is monumental for the future of Star Citizen. They're also they have ship-to-ship refueling in production, so that's a big one. Vehicle features, jump points are being worked on, but again, this really cannot come until meshing. Chris just told us in that video, I think it was last week, so don't get too excited when reading this. It's still going to be a while. Other stuff was 3.14 things, so that we really talked a lot about in the patch notes, so I won't really touch much on that. Link for the monthly report will be in the description. I highly suggest you check it out for yourself if you're interested a little bit more. Other updates, Lore Makers community questions. There's a lot of cool stuff here, like how Loreville got its name. They explained quantum sensitive materials and Asperia ships and things like that. It was pretty interesting. I'm really liking these Lore Maker community questions because it's really engaging and it's answering the questions that people want to know the answers to. It's pretty cool. Sneak peek. I'm assuming this is the size 7 laser weapon that's going to be on the Ares. I think it's the Ion. So yeah, that's looking really far along and looking forward to checking out that ship. That's going to be really cool. Then we had the sub promo. So the thing that I said in the intro that people are mad about. Yeah, they're kind of pissed, and I think they might be warranted. Yeah, I think the paints for ships that you may not have as a sub reward is weird. I really think the way they do paint is not good. I think the way they teased how they were going to do paint to us kind of was like the hex code thing, or you were going to have the ability to, kind of choose your paints in certain locations of the ship. Yeah, I just think ship unique paints are weird to sell and make no sense. Color palettes or like maybe literally any other solution is probably better. But yeah, I mean, like I do purchase the paints on ships that I think look cool, but at the same time, maybe I shouldn't, and I should probably kind of speak with my wallet there in some sense. But this one is the weirdest one because at least they put out a ship paint and you could choose whether or not to buy it, but you're kind of forced to get this one even though you may not have a 100 series ship. Very weird, but let me know what your thoughts are on that specifically in the comments, as well as any other things. That's going to do it for today's video. We didn't have any video updates. Jared was on vacation, plus ISC is still on hiatus, so there was no SEL, no calling all devs, nothing. And yeah, that's okay. People are allowed vacations, right? But yeah, so it was kind of a slow week, but 3.14 is in the PTU, so at least there's a lot to check out in game, which kind of makes the weekly news videos a little bit less exciting. So make sure you hit a like button on this, and hopefully we get a bit more to talk about next week. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week. But before we go, let me know in the comments what you're most interested in me diving into. I'm kind of like, am I going to make a video on scanning? Am I going to make a video on capacitors? Kind of those two things are really the only things that have come into the game so far. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye now.